right, last part of our notes. We're going to go over these examples. Do you have your calculator on and cleared? We are going to review back over finding the square root and cube root of values, but I'm also going to give you a little bit of extra information. So go ahead and find the square root of 121. Okay, 11 is correct. Okay, we can find the square root by using our calculator. Remember, we press second, x squared, and then type in the value 121 and press enter. You should have gotten 11. Okay, now, why is the square root of 121 11? So you need to copy that down, because 11 times 11 is 121.
We have to say because.
All right, this second example for square roots is written as a fraction. Remember that with exponents, if you had an exponent around the fraction, that you could give the exponent to the numerator and the denominator. The same thing is true for taking square roots. You could separately take the square root of 25 over the square root of 81. What is the square root of 25? Use your chart. It is 5. And then the square root of 81 is 9. All right, now, okay, so we're going to leave it in fraction form. But before we move on, go ahead and type the square root of 25 over 81 altogether. So if you type it in, make sure you put your fraction inside. 25 over 81. And it's going to give you 5/9. Okay? Go ahead and find the cube root of 512. Put the 3. So to do a cube root, and this was the most common question from yesterday. From Friday. Put a 3 second, and then press your exponent key, the caret key. You see you have a little 3 here, right? Okay, so now type in 512 and press enter. What's the value?
8.
Okay, why is it 8? Okay, so now let's do the cube root of this fraction. Remember, we can split it separately, but do we have to if we're using our calculator? So what is the cube root of 125 over the cube root of 216? 5 over. Okay, now, these bottom two are illustrating inverses. Okay, so you probably want to make yourself a little note that these are inverses. Okay, so remember we said that the inverse is squaring a number of a square root. Okay, so if we're trying to undo that, we need to take the square root of this number, right? Okay, well that number is 16. So what is the square root of 16? You said it. It is 4. 4 times 4 is 16, correct? Okay. But they're saying that there's another one. There's another number times itself that gives you 16. 8 times 8 is not 16. 64 times 64 is not 16. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, 2 times 8 is 16, but that's not the same number twice.
Oh, it's 4.
4 times 2.
It's not a decimal.
-4.
Okay, it is -4.
It's -4.
Why is it -4? Okay, so think about it for a second. Why is it -4?
Because the opposite.
Because 4 times
-4 times -4 is
-4.
is positive 16. So that does work, right? Okay, so anytime you're finding a square root, it has a possible negative value also. That's going to be true for all of these. What is -1 times -1?
1.
What's -2 times -2?
4.
What's -3 times -3?
9.
Okay, so what you need to put in front of each one of these is a plus and a minus because it could be positive or it could be negative. Now, in 8th grade math, we are going to assume that they're talking about the positive unless they ask us a specific question, right? But just know that square roots will always have two answers, a positive and a negative. All right, now let's look at cubes. So x cubed is 729. What's the opposite of cubing a value? Look at your notes. Look at your notes. What's the opposite of cubing? Cube root. So the cube root of 729 is how much?
9.
Okay, so x equals 9. Now my question is does the same rule apply to cubes as it does squares? Can I do negative 9 times negative 9 and it equals 729? No. What does it give me? No, it doesn't. Negative 9 times negative 9 times negative 9.
It give you.
That's the wrong answer.
It gives you 720.
It gives you negative 729, right? And they asked us for the cube root of the positive, didn't they? So that's why it's not equal to negative 9. That means that it only has one answer. Okay, turn to the back. Okay, what is the value? Okay, what is x if x squared equals 25? All right. X equals 5. Why? Because 5 times 5 equals 25. Also because the square root of 25 is equal to 5, right? Okay. So what is x if x squared equals 81? What's the opposite of squaring a value? No. Square root. So take the square root of 81. What is it? 9. Okay? So x squared equals 100. What is x? All right, and what operation would you do to get that? Square root of 100 equals 10. Get used to showing that it's the inverse, right? All right, now let's change over to cube roots, okay? So if x to the third is equal to 512, what's the inverse operation of cubing a value?
8 times.
Cube root. So take the cube root of 512. Look at your chart. What is that going to be?
8 times 8.
Okay. What if x squared is equal to 25 over 49? Okay, now explain how did you do that? Take the square root of 25 over 49, right? And you guys are saying because 5 times 5 is 25, so the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 49 is 7. So that's why it's 5 over 7. 7 times 7 is 49.